Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are going to do a Mega Unga Bunga damage test. So I've been meaning to do this one for a while, but in this one I don't know if I would say this is a damage test for a particular character. I guess we would say this would be an Ignis damage test because he is the main damage dealer here. But this is the team I used previously on a Shinryu fight where I just noticed I did so much damage and I wasn't even like setting up for a damage test. So this is Ignis, Weiss, and Cissnei. And so this is what I have been talking about with how good Ignis is in terms of opening up team building, in terms of like I could just take two of the best off-turn damage dealers in the game in Weiss and Cissnei, where Cissnei just has like the pure damage. Weiss has really good damage, but is also giving true HP damage to everybody, which is just adding damage into every attack we do. And then Ignis can sit there and he does enough damage to be considered a damage dealer, but then also can force charge and do supporty things, right? So yeah, let's see how this damage test goes here. I will say that this is the biggest damage test I've ever done, which makes sense, right? Because as the game gets farther on, the characters should get better. The damage test should always improve, right? So we'll see what we can do here. The one thing I'll say is in this fight, I wasn't able to get as high of a force percentage as I would have liked to going into it. This fight's really hard to like hold back and keep Bahamut alive because Cissnei and Weiss are just constantly attacking, right? And I can't prevent that. So I have to just kind of judge like what's the latest I can safely go into the fight without killing Bahamut, go into the burst phase. And that's kind of what I have to do here. Now, there is another fight that I have been experimenting with that I want to try to do damage tests on, and that's the Jesse fight. The Jesse Lost chapter is a 3-enemy fight, and I think theirs will work. The problem is it's a little bit trickier to set up because on the Jesse fight, in order to keep the enemies alive, I need them to be in force time. Because if they're in force time, they will heal everything back. And so a couple of things you have to be careful with on the Jesse fight is, one, you have to make sure you don't do a force that has ice damage or range damage. Otherwise, you'll cancel out their force. You don't want to do that. Because otherwise the damage test won't work. Because you're going to kill two of the enemies before it ends, and you're not going to get the proper number. Like, the reason why I've always used this fight as my damage test is because the two ads on the side never die. So you always have 3 targets the entire way through. Well, the Jesse fight is going to be better because the enemies are naturally tankier. So the idea is I would have more time to set up and do more echoing and things like that. But I have to make sure that when I go into burst phase, they're in force. Now, the problem with the Jesse fight is their force duration is actually pretty short, and they jump cut turns a lot. So I did attempt a damage test with this team on there. The problem was they kept jump cutting turns, and they actually worked their way out of their own force before I was ready to go into burst phase. So I kind of still felt the same pressure, but I had to set up maybe a little bit faster than I wanted to. So I just decided to do it on this fight because I'm very comfortable with this fight, and I know how it goes down. But just know the number that you're going to see in this video definitely can be improved upon because we go into this one, I think we're at like 500 something percent going into burst phase. And normally I can get into burst at least at like a 700% or something. I mean, if I could properly set up and not have any restrictions, I could be probably at 999% with 7 turns going into Ignis's burst phase. I feel like I probably could do that. The other thing that this team in particular didn't work well with on the Jesse fight was that I couldn't echo with Cissnei because she does range damage and I would cancel their force. So that's the other part that was bad. So I had to kind of hold back with Cissnei there. And like, yes, I could bring a character other than Cissnei, but the whole idea was I wanted to see how much damage this could do because Cissnei is carrying a lot of the damage here. So this is kind of like one of those things where like, technically you would say that this is an Ignis damage test, but really this is really a team effort type of setup. This is like everybody. Because I could put most characters in Ignis's spot, and Weiss and Cissnei are going to do so much damage. You're going to be able to get a good damage test number out of almost any character in the game, just because Weiss and Cissnei carry so much of the damage, right? So really what the middle character is doing is the amount of damage they're carrying is what's really putting you over the top in terms of how good of a damage test can you get. But I feel like, it used to be that I would say that a 500 mil damage burst phase was a good damage test. Well, now with this team setup, I think any character, I might even be, I mean, I could do it for memes, but I feel like even Thancred could maybe do well, here's the thing. I would love to do a damage test with Thancred and see how much damage he could do on this team, because I wouldn't be surprised if Thancred could do like a 500 million damage burst phase. The problem is you have to have a burst phase to be able to do it, and Thancred doesn't have a burst. So, but I could pick like maybe the crappiest, oldest burst character I could think of and put them in this situation, and they probably would actually put out a decent number just because Cissnei and Weiss carry so much damage, right? All right, so here we go. We are getting the the Reigns call on because we want launching, right? Okay, so I mean, this isn't the worst. We're going in at actually more like 600%, and we've got launching on, and you can see Bahamut is about to pop, right? Like, we got that just right, where he's at 8%. So I feel like this is about as efficient as I can do on this fight. So now we go into burst phase, and now we just blow it up. So now we attack Bahamut. We're going to get all the launch damage. We're going to get Sage Fire on here. And now we just go crazy. So I would have liked to have started a little bit higher, but 600 isn't bad. So there we go, 24 million with what, 13 on the sides. And then here goes Cissnei just saying, yeah, I'm just going to do like 6 mil AoE, sure. To like everybody. And I'm going to do it twice, by the way. So that was 12 mil AoE to everybody. 12 to 13. And then we throw on more. So this is what's crazy about this team. Every character is doing off turn. Like every character is. Everybody is. So like we really get the most out of this. Might be one of the most damaging team setups in the game right now. From what I've played with, you know, I'm feeling like this might be it. Now, if you take out Ignis and put like Astos there, probably can get more damage. But I'm telling you guys, in an AoE fight, Ignis is actually putting up a lot of damage because of total clarity. And the thing with Astos is he's kind of split, where he's got a little bit of AoE, but he's also got like a good mix of single target too. So I don't know, like, would Astos output more damage than Ignis here in this type of setup with 3 targets? I don't know that he would necessarily. Because you can say, well, you know, Astos can do 125 mil, something like that to one enemy. But when Ignis, like, every button he's pressing is doing AoE almost, other than his HP pluses, I suppose. So you got 35 mil there, got some damage on the sides, and then Cissnei's just going to, like, AoE go crazy. So this is where Cissnei gets insane, because there she's putting up like 8 mil plus AoE to everybody, doing it twice. That's like 16 mil AoE to 3 targets. Not counting like everything Weiss is doing as well, and then Ignis, like, yeah. The damage here gets wild and crazy. Yep. So you're like, and I think the Jesse fight, is the Jesse fight what I took this into? I don't remember what fight it was, but yeah, I think it was, because this team just does so much freaking damage. Look at all that damage. And then the total clarities at the end of everything with Ignis. Just an extra 15 mil AoE chip shot, sure. Yeah, just a ton of damage. It's fun. This is kind of like one of my favorite team setups right now. Like, this team is destroying everything. 43 million. Little damage on the sides. And we finally get to max gauge. So I did save Ignis's Overwhelm, because I think his EX does hit pretty hard. So we're going to pop that here at the end. And it's just, it takes forever to get through all these off-turn attacks. Like, so much damage coming through. Alright, so here we go. Let's Overwhelm. As if Bahamut hasn't been overwhelmed enough already. Yeah, I suppose Ignis does have a fair amount of single target too, but like 65 million, 31 on the sides, pretty good. Then here goes Besiege. Yeah, Astos probably would put up more damage now that I'm thinking about it, but I mean, we get the total clarity with the 2. He already did 64 and another 15. I mean, that was pretty high, pretty competitive, and total clarity hits AoE. So that's the part I'm talking about with Ignis, is even if he's doing single target, he's always getting the total clarities. So yeah, let's see this big fat number here. This is, once again, by far my best damage test I've ever put out. And I know other players are better than me, but dude, 925 million. So that was about my 1 billion damage burst phase. So we pretty much got it there. And once again, had I had a fight with more HP where I could take some more turns to echo, we easily could have broke 1 billion damage there. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this disastrous monsters team. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.